This short video is going to share with you the market update for Georgetown, Texas, 1 acre plus homes in Gabriel's Overlook. I know that's pretty specific, but we do this for virtually all the 1 acre plus neighborhoods. So if you have any interest, you can see how the different neighborhoods are performing. Because if you buy a home in one neighborhood, you might make more money than if you buy a home in another. Gabriel's Overlook is a good one. Let's take a look. So first of all, I'm going to give you current data. We're well into 2025, and these stats are for the first of 2025 to show you what happened over the last 12 months. But right now, we're seeing a hotness ratio of 0, meaning there are no homes under contract, but there are 8 homes actively for sale. Now, that literally could change tomorrow. If 2 of those go under contract, all of a sudden we're under a hotness ratio of 25%. So the most current picture of any given market is number of pendings compared to number of actives, and that can change pretty quickly. That tends to stay constant throughout a time period, but at this moment, we're at 0%, which means I probably shouldn't even brought it up, but I did. The inventory is about a 6-month inventory. Now, that is pretty darn good. Gabriel's Overlook has a 6-month inventory of homes for sale. That's actually better than most 1 acre plus areas. So in Gabriel's Overlook, you're in a little better position if you need to sell than if you're in another 1 acre plus neighborhood. Now, it's not the best of all of them, but it's certainly one of the handful of the best as far as inventory is concerned. Gabriel's Overlook from 24 compared to 23. Sales jumped 64%. That's a pretty big positive. We did see most neighborhoods with an increase in sales in 24 over 23. 23 was kind of a correction year after that big frenzy market. I call it the frenzy market when values skyrocketed and there were multiple offers on everything. That happened mostly in 21 and about halfway through 22. So 23 was kind of a correction year. 24 tended to rebound a little bit in some areas, but not in values. So what you're seeing in values right now in 25, and you'll see some more stats on that pretty soon, are kind of a reflection of a continued correction that's starting to rescind and become a normal market. Now, the average price in Gabriel's Overlook in 24 compared to 23 was up about 8.5%. Now, don't get excited. Your house isn't worth 8.5% more than it was a year ago. Sorry to tell you that, but this is a very small pool of data. So overall in the 1 acre plus market, it does differ than the overall market, the subdivision market, the townhome market, etc. The 1 acre plus market has its own performance standards. So from what I can tell from other stats and other information, it's about a 1%, maybe 2% increase in home values in Gabriel's Overlook over the last year, but it's not what you see at 8.5%. And one of the reasons is because it's a small pool of data and we had far more homes sell at high prices. Now, I don't mean at high prices like people paid a lot more for them. I mean more of the expensive homes in Gabriel's Overlook sold. So bottom line is, in Gabriel's Overlook, you see a very wide price range from a low of $650,000 to a high of $1,450,000 in 24. So that's a pretty big range. And you saw more of the expensive homes in Gabriel's Overlook sell. That's why it pushed that average price up. It did take longer to sell in 24 than it did in 23. I know it's a mixed bag. More sales, that's a good thing. Took them longer to sell. Seems like a bad thing, but it's actually about 92 days, which is a very normal figure for homes on an acre or more. There are some 1 acre plus neighborhoods that are well over 100 days for average time to sell. There are some that are a little bit less, but 92 days is a very average, normal number for homes on an acre or more in any given year, quite sincerely. Now, this stat was virtually unchanged. This is how much do buyers pay compared to asking price? Well, it's about 97%, and that's, again, very normal. The change was very slight, negative 0.17. And since we know that more of the sales in Gabriel's Overlook were expensive homes, which tend to sell a little more off asking, but again, Not much, less than 0.2%. So the change was negligible. Again, 97.1%, very normal. 92 days in the market, very normal. If you'd have asked anybody during 15, 16, 17, 18, 2019, 2020, these would have been very normal figures. 97% of asking and about 92 days in the market. Those were very normal. So it seems like we're returning to that a little faster than I think we anticipated. And one thing we've been seeing is homes having to reduce their prices dramatically in order to sell. And we did see that again in Gabriel's Overlook in 24. And that's where home sellers had to lower their prices about 3% more than they did in 23 in order to get them sold. So they're down below 94%. So what this says simply is that when homeowners put their homes on the market, they eventually moved prices to about 94% of what they originally asked. Then they went under contract. Then when they went under contract, they got about 97%. So we're seeing some homeowners put their homes on the market and ended up at about 91% of where they started. I hope this makes sense. All we're saying is this: homeowners lowered prices more in 24 than they did in 23. Which kind of brings me to the next slide, and that is be careful when you price your home. I know it's a very difficult decision to make. You want to maximize your profits, but I'm here to tell you that frenzied market, that market where values really skyrocketed, did you lose some of that in late 22, 23, 24? Yes, you did. But you did not lose much of it. You still have a lot of equity that was gained during those years that you wouldn't have had. So whatever price you're thinking about, if that market hadn't happened for that 18 months, you'd be talking probably $150,000 less. So you have a windfall. Do not overprice your house. It just costs you money. Homes that don't overprice, who don't need to change their price while they're on the market, sell higher, closer to asking, and they sell faster. So be sure to pay attention to the comparables, the market, and an experienced agent. And if you're thinking about buying a home on an acre or more, we do have a love it or leave it guarantee. It's a big change. If you've never lived on an acre or more, you might decide, well, gosh, we just don't like this. I mean, there's more maintenance than we anticipated, a lot more lawn mowing than we anticipated, but we've got your back. If you buy a home on an acre or more and you're not 100% thrilled and you feel like you have to move, even if you have to move by surprise, like you got to transfer, we will sell it and waive our fee up to 1 year after you buy it. It's nearly impossible to sell a home within a year after you buy it and make any money or even break even. So that's why we waive our fee for you, our love it or leave it guarantee. I did put another video up here. Yes, it's the love it or leave it guarantee video. It explains that program to you. If you'd like more information, you'd like to see how we can help you, I put my information on the screen, call or text. If you like this video, please do hit that like button. That's always helpful to me. And subscribe if you'd like to see more. This is all about 1 Acre Plus Homes. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day. Bye-bye.